First we'll watch the black number 2 over to the right part of the screen. He was marking up the other player. The ball doesn't go to him, so he goes towards the ball carrier. He would be second to her, except his first to her didn't hold her, so he should have connected forward. He never actually connects forward. I think he could have and just didn't do it. You never watch the black number 1 over to the left part of the screen. He should be ready to connect as soon as she touches the ball, but instead of connecting, he swings at her racket and gets way out of position. Now he has to catch up back up again. He is a quick horse and he is able to catch up, but instead of catching up and getting forward and bending her and stopping her from going down the field, he stays back and tries to swing at her racket. Okay, first we'll watch the black number 2. He's kind of in the middle of the screen right there. And the white person on the white ball, orange player on the white ball, just got the ball, so he should be first to them and should try to connect with them forward and get them turned. He almost does it. He does get up close to them, but never really connects and never tries to hold her. He's just standing there beside her. Then when he makes a turn, she turns away. He turns toward her, so he's going to get behind. She takes advantage of an additional turn while he's still running forward to catch up, and she gets past him. You know, watch the black number 1 on the white horse. His teammate should be first to the ball carrier, so he should already be headed toward the second side, but for some reason he decides to mark up the number 1 when his 3 is in a good position to catch him, so his other player doesn't have any help chasing the ball, and he really should have been doing that whole thing. Here he tries to come back to try to help chase the ball. His player had the ball carrier stopped, and he gets held off before he can get back up to her. Okay, first we'll watch the black number 2, his farthest black player to the right just now. He was just swinging at the racket, and the orange player on the Palomino horse has the ball, and the black 2 is being held away, but he should still be trying to go towards the ball carrier until the ball gets into the area. And he's running down the field toward that way, still being held away from the play. And here, where the ball carrier, he's passed the ball carrier up, he carries on a little bit too far down the field, where he should have stayed back there. If his defender stayed back too, he could have actually been blocking that left side with the defender and him. He went too far and had to turn back to get up against her. There he actually should have been heading toward the left side because his teammate already had the right side. Now we'll watch the black number 1 who's on the white horse. It is their number 1 that's carrying the ball, so their number 3 is on him, and that's okay. And the number 3 had that first side, and our player that we're watching swung at the racket and overrode, so he wasn't very effective. He should have checked up a little bit, let the 3 bend that ball carrier far around to the direction he didn't want to go. Here again, he swings at the racket, bypasses, and doesn't hold her. She gets past him, and then now he should be taking the right side of the ball carrier, and his ball carrier should be, his number 2 should be coming up on the left, but his number 2 doesn't seem to trust that he can hold that horse, so the number 2 comes around and actually bats it down for a while, but they get it back and throw it in.
Throws it up nice and high. So you can't really count on bounces on this field. This field is getting really choppy. And she's got it again, though. Rainey carrying the ball down the field, looking for a connection with Margaret. Margaret's headed down the way, but Rainey's getting a lot of attention from Grace Nelson. Rainey turns away from pressure. Oh, she's getting red shirts on both sides of her, white helmets on both sides of her. She slips away from that.
Okay, first we'll watch the red number 2. That's the player with the white helmet, number 2, and she's right in the middle of the screen right now. The ball doesn't get firmly in a possession yet, and of course we talked about what to do in her loose ball situations, but anyhow, now that their team has it, she should be heading up towards the ball carrier. She's very late about getting up there. She may be held off for a little while, but her teammate gets the ball carrier stopped, and sure enough, the player that we were watching, the 2, comes up. But instead of swinging at the racket, she'd have been better off by getting close to the ball carrier and then letting her teammate bend the ball carrier back the direction she didn't want to go before she swung at the racket. Okay, now we'll watch the number 1, who is this player that's kind of farthest to the left of the screen right now. And she is first to the ball carrier, and she swings instead of just connecting up and bending them, but that did force that player to turn. And then she caught the player again and held her sideways, just like she's supposed to do. That part she did really well. Then she let her back up without, keeping her, and she got past her. The rest of it was pretty good.
There's the throw. It's diagonal racket. It's the black number 2, Fulton Murray. Works his way down the field as Margaret Murray works her way down into the end zone, where hopefully Fulton can get a pass to her. Looks like they could make a connection here. He waits too long, Olivia's going to cover him up. That's exactly what happened. And now it's up.
Okay, first we'll watch the white helmet, number 2. It's snagged out of the lineup, so right away she should be heading toward the ball carrier. And she actually looks back and look like she's trying to go after the number 1 instead of the ball carrier. Her teammate gets the ball carrier stopped, and so she should still be going up to get that second side, the ball side. Here she does come into the screen, and just before she gets there, the ball carrier moves around to go away from the guy that's stopping her. Our number 2's teammate stops him again, and she still doesn't get up there to take his other side. Okay, now we'll watch the white helmet, number 1. It's snagged out of the lineup, so she should be heading for the ball. She does head for the ball, might have even crossed the player there to head for the ball. But when she gets up to the ball carrier, she connects with him a little later than she needed to. Well, she's actually not connected yet, but she gets in a good spot and actually gets him held crossways the field. When he turns away, she turns away also, but she overturned and got too far out of the way. But she catches him again and connects forward of him and gets him turned crossways the field. There she backed up too much, and he went on around the front, but the rest of that was pretty good.
And Rainey, she's got it. Rainey Sack's getting a lot of attention from Grace in midfield. Rainey hanging on to the ball. Oh, now she's...
Okay, first we'll watch the white helmet number 2, which is farthest left of the screen right now. Their team bringing it out of the end zone. She should be going after the ball. Her teammate gets up against her, so her teammate gets the first side. So our number 2 should be heading toward her second side. Now, because she was closer than she is now, but as she gets close enough that the ball carrier can't turn toward her, the first player should be bending them up the way. Of course, the first pair didn't connect enough, and she gets away. Then the first player gets toward her again and actually hits the ball out of her racket. Okay, we'll watch that first player, who is the number 1 with a white helmet. Heading on the screen yet is be coming up here in a minute and get right up against the ball carrier. There she is. And she first connected a little far back. Of course, there were other people there. She gets off and then tries to get a little more forward. She connects a little bit better, and there's a good area of connection. She gets back forward, but then isn't able to stay up against her, so the ball carrier is able to just pull back over her horse, which shouldn't have been allowed, but you don't want to let give them that much space in it.
Who have a throw in, and it comes up in Rachel Gaylor, the orange number 3's racket. The orange team is ahead right now, 3-1, and they've come up with the ball after the first throw in. Working the way up the field, trying to get a connection into Dan. It's up.
First, we'll talk about the black number 2, and mainly once the ball's picked up, there it is, picked up by the orange number 3, and the black number 2 should be heading for the ball carrier and should be trying to pick up her on the left side. But for some reason, he checked back as if to go for the 1 for something, and then when he decided to go back for the ball carrier, he got behind and couldn't catch up. So now we look at the black number. Now we look at the black number 1. There the ball is picked up, so he should be trying going after the ball, and there somebody picks him up and pretty much keeps him out of the play the whole time. He should still be working whatever he can do to go after the ball and put pressure on the ball, but he doesn't get it on this play.
Out the back, the player spin, the number 3. Rachel Gaylor comes up with it. Rachel carrying it down, looking for Dan. Braxton is really going to...
Okay, we'll watch the black number 2, and of course the orange number 3 gets the ball, and then she starts circling back upfield to get lined out, and when she starts straightening out there, right here, if he would, instead of going forward and try to meet up forward on her, just stay back, forcing her to go to his right side and let her go on past him on the right and be picked up by his number 1, who is up there. And then as his 1 picks her up, he takes her right side. Okay, now we'll watch the black number 1. After the number 3 gets it and circles back around and starts lining up, heading back upfield. He's correct in waiting downfield of his 2 because the 2 didn't have the ball carrier held up.
Rachel goes down and she's got it. Braxton is not wasting any time getting out in front of the number 1, and the other black players are going after the ball carrier. They've got her right up against the line. She turns away from pressure though, working her way down toward the air, spins away again, very wisely. Spins away, still trying for a connection with Dan. She threw it over his racket last time. She wants to make...
First we'll talk about the black number 2. And when the orange number 3 gets the ball, our black number 2 is farthest down the field, and his number 1 should be first to her. So if he thought the number 1 was going to hold her, he should, as soon as he knows that his 1 is going to hold her, he should start for the second side. But the 1 doesn't actually hold her till real late, and then when he finally gets her turned, he comes back, and our number 2 should pick up her right side after the turn, and he kind of does, or tries to, but then the number 1 had slipped in, his own number 1 had slipped in between him, so he couldn't take it, but got her turn. She turns back, and then our number 2 should be on her again, and just tries to get between the pass instead of marking her up. Now the number 1, I'm not sure why he didn't connect forward and get her stopped much sooner than that. He seemed to have been able to. Then when he turns into her, which is going to put him behind, and then he should have just come right on and taken her left side, because his number 2 had her on the right side, but he made his number 2 ineffective by going in on the side where his other player already was.